Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Philip with Geared Towards Automotive, and on today's video we're going to be whiteboarding a Foursquare. So what a Foursquare is a way to present pricing to a customer when they are buying a car. Now, spending 10 years in the car business on the sales side of things, now filming things and doing other stuff, I can show you guys the true ins and outs of a Foursquare, how it works. So basically a Foursquare is basically 4 different quadrants. And you'll have the customer information up here, the name of the dealership, the date, all that stuff up there. But the whole point of a Foursquare is to present numbers to a customer in an honest fashion, but I guess I'll say backhanded way of presenting this instead of the printed version, which I'll screenshot and show you on the screen right now, is to be able to write on, draw on, and change things on the Foursquare instead of having a printed version from a program, from a computer that was typed up. Now you can manipulate those numbers as well, but this is easier to manipulate because it's done in marker or pen or even pencil for that matter, which is even sketchier. So to better understand the Foursquare and this presentation style of pricing, watch this quick video, learn the 4 different quadrants and how you can get the upper hand when buying a car if the dealership is using a Foursquare. So what they'll do is, let's just say you found a car, you test drove it, you love it, and you're ready to talk about the pricing with the dealership, or you found a car online or a used car, you're going in and you're like, hey, what's the price, what's the payment, what's the real deal on this car? So over here they're gonna go, okay, well the price is $25,000, okay? And say you wanna finance the car, you don't have your own financing. That's the first mistake. You wanna go ahead and find your own financing so you can eliminate this part, and this part, or as much of this as possible and narrow it down to just negotiating the price. But let's say you haven't done any of that legwork. Your money down, they say, hey, the car is $25,000 and you need to put $3,000 down, okay? And you have a trade-in. Let's just say your trade-in is an older 2010, 2012 model car. It's got a ton of miles. It's ready to be retired and done. It's only worth about $3,000. And they want to try to make as much money on the trade-in as possible because they're giving you a great deal on the price of the vehicle. So even though your car is worth $3,000, they're going to go ahead and start and tell you that it's probably worth $1,000. And I might be generous here. They may put like $500 there just to kind of start low. So, and then the payment, they're going to probably give you a 36-month term, a 60-month term, 72 months, and in most cases now, which is unfortunate the way things are going, people are financing cars for 84 and even further. But let's just say they give you these terms, and they're going to go ahead and give you the different payments. Let's just say I haven't done the actual math. This isn't based on real math, but it's, let's just say it's 700 here, 500 here, and 300 here. And if you stretch it out to 84 months, it'll be 280. And that's basically how it works. So you have, and you're going to have all of your information up here, the dealership name. So basically the salesperson is going to present this to you and go, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, the price of the vehicle you picked out is $25,000. With just $3,000 down plus your trade-in of $1,000, you can take the vehicle home today for these following payments. Which one works best for you? And then they're going to drop the pen on whichever payment they think works best for you based on your conversations to kind of subconsciously point you in the direction of which one you should circle. And they're going to go, okay, circle and sign which one works best for you, hoping that right out of the gate, as a customer, you've fallen in love with the car and all the numbers make sense, you're okay with the trade-in value, and they're just going to make it real easy. So you would just circle, hey, I can afford under $300 a month based on the conversations you've had with the dealership, with the salesperson. So you're going to go ahead and circle $280 a month and sign on the dotted line. Now the problem with this is the whole point of this is to focus you towards the payment, right? So they're drawing your attention towards the payment, but what you haven't really noticed is that the money down is $3,000, and that's just kind of a fluff number, right? So really in the computer when they're working the numbers, this could probably be only $1,000, right? And this price is 25. They may have that actually at 26 in the computer. And the trade-in value, even though they're giving you 1,000, they really have 3,000 plugged into the computer. So if you just circle the first numbers, the first pencil they call it, when they're presenting the pricing to you, you're leaving money on the table and you're, I guess, kind of getting screwed over. You want to definitely negotiate the numbers even though the payment looks good. So let's fix all this up and then explain how all of these can be negotiated and manipulated. Okay guys, so basically I've got this all cleaned up. I made these a little bit bigger so you can see it better on camera, but so let's dig into the Foursquare. I've got Foursquare 101. So what you need to understand is this has been presented to you. You're ready to buy a car, and let's just say, back to what we were just talking about, price is 25 grand, 3 grand down, $1,000 for your trade-in. You can pick from these payments and roll home with the car today. So what the goal of this is to narrow you in and focus you in on the payment portion. As a customer, what you need to focus on is every single quadrant of this Foursquare. Now that's the whole point of this pricing system, is to avoid all that, because then when the customer gets excited, they get concerned, and then it's harder to negotiate a deal and end up on a number that works for both parties when you're focusing on the price, you're focusing on the money down, you're focusing on the trade-in, and then you're focusing on the payment, and you're like, oh wait, oh my gosh, can I afford this? What's the interest rate? Is this really the best deal? Then you jump on your phone, you're just checking and shopping as you're in front of the salesperson. And here's the thing, it goes both ways. Have your numbers, have your budget, have everything done ahead of time before you go into the dealership and you're ready to buy a car. Shopping is one thing, but not knowing what you can afford and where you are in the buying and the financial process when you start negotiating can make it a train wreck for both you and the salesperson, with all due respect. So if you don't know what you can truly afford and you're having second thoughts and you're not ready to really pull the trigger, don't get this deep into the process until you're ready to do that, because you are truly wasting your time and the dealership and salesperson's time. So let's dig into this. So the payment is 36, 60, 72, 84 months. Obviously, you can't afford $700 a month, and you're going to keep the car longer than 36 months. So you say to the salesperson, you know, look, I love the car. I can deal with the 25 grand. I was hoping to be under 26 or 20 or 30 grand, whatever you want to say. Now, I was hoping to get a little bit more for my trade-in, and I don't know if I can do 3,000 down. So really, there's a lot wrong with this right now. And the number one red flag is that you don't even know what the interest rate is for all of those payments. So the salesperson's going to go, okay, great. You know, you can't afford 3,000 down. I understand you wanted more for your trade-in. I'll see what I can do there. I'll have to go talk to the big boss. But you know, you can afford $280 a month. So what if we could maybe you know, lower the price here, or can you come up with a little bit more money here if I can get you more here? So this becomes a whole mess of drawing and writing. So what the salesperson's probably going to do is, hey, look, I can't really touch the price of the car, right? Because they want to preserve any kind of profit they have. But you know, if you could, instead of 3,000, if you could come up with 2,500, that might work. And then maybe I could talk to the boss and get you 1,500 for the trade-in. And since you really want to be, you know, at 280 for 84 months, maybe I can get you here at 280 for 72 months instead of 84 months. That might work, I'm not sure, but if that does work, would you be willing to take the car home today? And that's basically how the negotiation process works. And you'll notice that with the Foursquare method, we're not taking big chunks down. They're usually going to chip away either $500 or $250 at a time. So they're going to go, okay, well, you can't do 25, what about 2? Or what about, you know, 1,750 or 1,500? Smaller, 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 chip away, chip away, chip away. Or for your trade-in, I can't do that. Maybe I can get you, instead of 15, it's going to be, let's just say it's 1,750 or 2,000, and then maybe 2,200. Just odd, and it's going to be odd numbers too, not necessarily even numbers. And then this is slowly going to change and change and change. And the whole point of that is this has never changed. These have all changed. And that's the whole point. That's the part of the negotiation process. And then this payment has changed. But again, notice that we still haven't talked about the interest rate. So if you have your own financing, great. Have them plug in and tell you the specific rate, whether it's 2.9, 3.9, 4.9, whatever it is. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not advising you those are the rates today, but have them plug that in and give you the payments on a printed sheet of paper with your specific finance options. Because even if you agree to a payment that works for you, you've never seen the interest rate, and then once they whittle you down and you're tired from negotiating, you're hungry, as they always say, or you got to go talk to the wife, 2 or 3 hours later, you've been sitting there and you get back to the finance office and you find out that this is all based on like 7 or 8%. Who pays 7 or 8% for a car today? Nobody. As long as you don't want to get ripped off, you don't. So that's the thing to ask. That's the red flag. Is the first thing out of the gate is forget all this stuff. What is this based on? Right? Because this all has to come from somewhere. It all has to be based on something. So if it's not based on a real interest rate that you are okay with, then none of this stuff matters. The other important thing to notice here is the whole point of this is to obviously make a little bit of profit, which is okay. You know, dealerships are in business to make profit, but when it's done in a fashion where customers confused, they just don't understand, or where it's borderline ripping off, and that's where it's kind of wrong. So the whole reason these are kind of inflated with the higher interest rate is when you go back into the finance office, if you have your own financing, that's great. But let's just say you agree to and you get to your under 200 or you're under 300 a month monthly payment, which, let's be honest, that's kind of hard to get to nowadays. That's basically what a family plan for cell phone plan is these days. So if you're looking for that, bump your budget up a little bit. So anyway, the 7 to 8% is there because even if you strip all of the profit out of the front end of the deal, as they call it, you're still leaving a little bit of back end room, which is the room for the finance manager in the finance office once you get back there. So they're gonna go, hey, great, congratulations on your new car. You know, you're gonna be putting, let's just say it's $2,000 down, and we're gonna be giving you $2,000 or $2,200, whatever you agree to for the trade-in, the money down, and you're gonna be purchasing or financing the car for $25,000. Even though it was 7 or 8%, we actually were able to get you an interest rate based on your beautiful credit score of 800. Can't write. 800 credit score. We were able to get you 3.9. All right, and you're gonna be like, great, that's an awesome credit score. But wait a minute. This was equal to the 280, but now that it's lower at 3.9, and the payment didn't change, or if they say, hey, you know, and that's going to affect the payment about $20 a month, so now it's going to be $260 for 72 months. Congratulations, super low payment. And because of that, the bank also approved you for tire and wheel care, an extended warranty for 10 years, and a whole bunch of other BS that you don't really need. So that is the whole point of overinflating all of this, is that even though you strip all the profit out of the front end, like I said, it leaves room to where it seems like the finance manager is coming in and being a miracle worker, yet it was all done on purpose from the get-go. And you may want an extended warranty. I think they're great, especially if you're buying a car that's 2 or 3 years old. You may want tire and wheel care. I think that's great, especially if you live in a city and you're hitting curbs all the time, which happens. I've done it. And if you want other kinds of protection, don't get undercoating. But other stuff like low jack, if you live in the city, there's a whole bunch of other things that we can get into to protect the vehicle, but don't go about them and get ripped off in a manner like this. Go about them in a way where you're understanding what they cost as far as part of your monthly payment, how much of your monthly payment is going towards interest, is going towards the principal and paying for the car, or going towards the actual protection plans you're getting. Don't just roll with it and go, hey, great, I'm saving a ton of money here because everybody's concerned with interest rates and the market right now, and I'm basically getting all these other packages for free. You're not, you are paying for it, you were paying it for it from the get-go when you started negotiating, and you didn't negotiate the price of the car. So hopefully you guys found value in this video. Check out the other whiteboard videos we have. We'll be doing more. If there's anything else you'd like to learn, if you have questions about anything on here, or if you disagree with anything I've said on here, that's completely okay too. Go ahead and leave it down in the comments down below, and make sure you smash the like button. It helps the algorithm and brings me up higher in the views and rankings, so I can help more of you with whiteboard videos and show you other vehicle review and tech videos. So until the next video, I'm Philip with Geared Towards Automotive, and we'll see you on the next video.